Our story is like the ripples that circle wider and wider around a stone tossed in a pond. It is the story of how a life lost led to a life saved 10 years later through a remarkable chain of events that began in 1998 when Alice Wynne, Assistant Attorney General of Massachusetts, was diagnosed with leukemia.
So this is me, my dad, my younger sister, Becky, my mom, and my brother, Gilbert.
Jennifer Wynne Aronson remembers the picture being taken just before her mother got sick.
I just love it because she looks so happy, and it just shows how close we were as a family and how much fun we had.
Soon, Alice Wynne would be told her life depended on receiving a bone marrow transplant, and that a suitable donor match had not been found.
They came by the hundreds to help a stranger in need.
So the Wynne family organized a very public appeal.
I think there's definitely a sense of them helping my mother, but also the fact that this drive will definitely benefit so many people, in addition, hopefully, to benefiting my mom. It's overwhelming, and we're very grateful.
Genetically, European Jews like themselves had the best odds of a match. 2,500 people volunteered.
We just assumed that, if we got enough people, we would find a match, and that she would dance out of there, which is what she always said,
The drive did not produce a match for Alice Wynne. She died 3 months later at the age of 51. End of story? Hardly. All those blood samples collected in the drive wound up here.
Now, what's in here?
These are frozen vials of blood.
At the National Marrow Donor Program repository in Minneapolis.
And how big is the freezer?
The freezer is about 50 feet square, and it's cold.
That's 20 below zero Fahrenheit.
Leela Jones runs the repository.
Now, how many samples are in here?
There are samples from 2 million donors in this freezer.
Altogether, 14 million potential donors are on registries around the world. Bone marrow manufactures our blood cells. In a bone marrow transplant, marrow is extracted from a donor's bones and is then administered intravenously to a recipient whose blood is diseased. If all goes well, the donor's marrow literally replaces the recipient's and starts producing healthy blood cells.
I took Adam for his 4-month well visit to his pediatrician, and Adam's spleen was a tiny bit enlarged.
Danielle Glosser is Adam Riker's mother.
Well, once we checked into the hospital, from my understanding, there was kind of a grid of all the possibilities of what this could be, because Adam did not show any other signs of anything.
For Glosser and her husband, Howard Riker, the joy of having this baby, a brother for their son Seth, turned to disbelief, fear.
You can't help yourself from thinking about what ifs and getting scared.
Adam was diagnosed with JMML, juvenile myelomonocytic leukemia.
JMML is a very, very rare disease that only really affects children under the age of 5.
Adam's doctor, Leslie Lehman, heads the pediatric transplant program at Dana-Farber Children's Hospital Cancer Center in Boston.
Untreated, it is uniformly fatal. The leukemia progresses, it involves the bone marrow and kills off the normal cells. So transplant is, in 2010, the only known curative option for the disease.
As the hunt for a donor began, the Riker family had no idea that Alice Wynne, who had been dead for 10 years, even existed. But Deb Liney did. She had done Alice Wynne's sad, unsuccessful search, and now, by coincidence, she was doing Adam's. Out of the millions of potential donors worldwide, she found just one perfect match.
I circled it and I said, I need this urgently. And I looked at the number and I thought, that looks like a number that's in our donor center.
It was from that long-ago donor drive for Alice Wynne.
There was something on the news that advertised that there was a drive. There was a woman who was very ill.
Gary Zalkin, a Boston area lawyer, was Adam's best and perhaps only hope.
Did it ever cross your mind that 10 years later you'd have your moment?
No, I forgot all about it. Forgot all about it.
I was all pumped up when you got home, and I was there with the letter, and I'm like, look, maybe you can save somebody's life.
Sherry Zalkin was surprised at her husband's response.
I was very unhappy. I figured this was going to be incredibly painful. Were they nice to you?
But the Zalkins have 2 boys of their own, so saying no wasn't really an option.
God forbid it was my child who was sick.
And did you have any discomfort or pain afterward?
I was a little sore.
A little sore, not a lot sore.
I walked funny for a week.
That was the good news. The bad news was what he says the doctor at Dana-Farber told him.
He seemed to say it's probably not going to work. So I told the liaison there that if it worked out well, I'd love to hear from them. And if not, I'll assume they lost my number.
I got to hold the bag with the bone marrow, and I just really put all my good wishes in the bag. I thought it'd be much darker than it was. I actually thought it looked like watermelon juice.
April 16th, 2009 was Transplant Day for Adam Riker.
That's when the stress really started. People have postpartum blues. It was like post-transplant blues. It was like, oh my goodness, now what? Now we just wait?
For more than a month, they waited in the super sterile isolation of the transplant ward. Anxiously counting off each day, Adam did not die, sweating each setback. Even when he was allowed to go home to Washington, D.C., he was in danger. For a full year after a transplant, the outcome is anything but a sure thing.
No one could come in our house. Adam couldn't have his stuffed animals. We couldn't have plants near him. We had to Purell constantly.
In a family where Purell became a verb, Adam grew stronger. His parents now measured the weeks and the milestones.
You can do anything. So,
Adam Riker made it to a year. He was finally free to be a normal boy. At 1 year, donors are asked if they want contact with recipients.
For me, it was very important.
You know, it's a lot more meaningful for them, I think.
Or so Gary Zalkin thought.
Hello, aloha.
Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Good to meet you.
You too, I think I look sick too.
Until he and his family went to the party the Rikers threw at a Boston candy store. And he met Adam.
Hello. How you doing, big guy? That's a great smile. It's a real boy and a real family. I didn't expect it to be as overwhelming as it is. Should I have a cupcake?
Are you offering Gary a cupcake? You want to give him a bite of yours?
The day was sweet in so many ways, especially for a mother meeting the man who saved her child's life.
I've had a lot of cupcakes. This is a quality cupcake.
And it was bittersweet, too, remembering that the woman whose family set all this in motion had not been saved.
They brought so many people into the registry, but for what they did, you know, it would have been a tragedy. Unthinkable. I'm sorry I couldn't be a match for their mom.
How are you?
But just by being willing to try, Gary Zalkin was able to give her a kind of immortality. And Adam Riker, life.
You can do a small thing and then 10 years later never know what huge impact it will have.